switched to defense and focused on strengthening his positions, in front of which powerful barbed wire obstacles and about 500,000 mines were installed, while the fortifications behind the minefields stretched for 2 kilometers. Poor supply, especially of fuel, tankers with oil heading to Africa were sunk by the British air superiority, and finally the lack of reinforcements made his situation quite difficult. Meanwhile, the British were accumulating forces for a decisive breakthrough. The 51st and 44th Divisions, a large amount of artillery and equipment, including American Grant and Sherman tanks, were transferred from England to Africa. By the end of October, the 8th Army had been increased to 7 infantry and 3 armored divisions, along with 7 independent tank brigades, totaling 220,000 men with 1,100 tanks against 12 German-Italian divisions, for German and 8 Italian, numbering 115,000 men with 600 tanks. Montgomery was preparing an offensive on the northern flank, where he concentrated significant tank forces behind his positions. At the same time, a large-scale operation to confuse the enemy, named Bertram, was organized. Back in September, large depots made up of empty boxes and crates were created in the northern sector under camouflage nets. The Germans initially perceived this as a sign of a forthcoming offensive, but as time passed without any attack, they began to consider it a deceptive maneuver. Meanwhile, as the time for the assault approached, the empty boxes were replaced with full ones at night. In the south, a false oil pipeline began to be constructed, creating a dual effect by deceiving the enemy regarding both the location and timing of the anticipated offensive. The Germans believed that the English would not launch an attack until the construction was complete. In the south, plywood tanks placed on jeeps were concentrated. Conversely, in the north, tanks were disguised as trucks using plywood sides. Disoriented Rommel, not knowing where the blow would come from, contrary to his habit of concentrating tank forces, distributed them across the front. His army was positioned as follows. On the front lines were 5 Italian divisions mixed with 1 German division and a German parachute brigade, the second echelon, directly behind them. In the south were 1 German and 1 Italian tank division, and in the north were 2 German and 2 Italian tank divisions and 2 motorized divisions, which were to be directed to the breakthrough area to contain it. The reserves were positioned unusually close to the forces of the first echelon. Rommel believed this would allow them to be engaged in battle before the enemy could concentrate reinforcements. However, Rommel was ill and left for medical leave on September 23, handing over command to General George Stumm, who had been recalled from the Eastern Front. Before this, he sent Hitler a comprehensive report in which he pointed out the necessity to advance as actively as possible in southern Russia and to reach the Caucasus and Iran, see Battle for the Caucasus, in order for the British to divert part of their forces there and allow the African Corps to resume its offensive.